industry is when you have the population supporting it, then that translates into support that we can ultimately see from the government. When I talk about biotech in particular, you see Canadian support is overwhelmingly strong in terms of 9 out of 10 see biotech as important to Canada's future economic prosperity.
More recently, there's some very, very exciting transactions. Sinopec made an investment in AGAX Petroleum, which was worth a whopping $9.3 billion. It's a Canadian company, albeit assets are outside of Canada.
You can barely see it here, but this does come down a bit and underperformed in the last year, but that's just now reestablishing itself. So what I'd like to lay out for you here is this is the environment. The environment is very, very bullish for investing in the resource sector. The challenge is still in a post-Lehman environment, the challenge is financing.
Or the right distributors. That right distributor is actually very, very important because we've seen plenty of large American distributors who've come in and you're like, great, like a partnership, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, there are lots of interesting opportunities for companies that are working in international collaborations in government. One is through government funds itself. So in Canada, we actually do have partnership funding programs that support partnerships between Canadian companies and Chinese companies.
In the capital markets, I would say that the United States obviously is the most developed biotechnology market in the world, and they fund a lot of the world's innovation. So you will often see San Francisco-based VCs invest sometimes in mature Israeli companies or Chinese companies.
You know, there is a good point as to whether local investors will support it. And sometimes that, you know, I'd like to think that we can build a relationship between Canadian companies and Chinese companies. If there's collaboration there, that you can bring a pool of investors that will make funding hopefully a little bit better. But I don't think anything will change in terms of the quality that is asked of the company these days.
If the investor, as I said, tend to be large, conglomerate by definition, they're large and bureaucratic. So we have policies and procedures that I find that the more entrepreneurial, scientific type in North America having a tough time following.
In China, from my years there, usually at the top, once the people at the bottom can sense where the wind is blowing, and a lot of times in China, the politics supersedes the basic economics.
You know, we work on a lot of deals representing both Chinese companies in their investments and acquisitions overseas, and we also represent a lot of foreign companies in their dealings with Chinese companies. And the dance is awkward, just because of the lack of experience of both sides dealing with the other side.
When countries traditionally move from lower income to middle class status, people desire three things. Number one, automobiles. Well, obviously, we see in Beijing the bicycle pushed aside as the automobiles come online. Number two, protein, whether from animals, from meats, or from grains. Number three, healthcare. And so we see the opportunities, automobiles, which also, of course, means steel production. Number two, agricultural science. And number three, life sciences and medical science present such opportunities for China as they do for every country that moves from low income to middle income or high income status.
The Chinese steel industry is a wonder. It's incredible. Over the period of time from January of '05 through the present, Chinese steel has demonstrated a 17% compounded annual growth rate, and just last month I think I read that Chinese steel set an all-time production record for the country of China.
Your goal is to form partnerships and business relationships and almost personal relationships with authorities at every level.
在这里我特别要指出的是，在中国高端钢材需要进口，这种进口是一种刚性的需求，因为中国不能生产。但是在中低档次的产品方面，中国是全球最具竞争力的供应商。
随着中国经济本身从贸易变成投资，它越来越多的 进行兼并收购进入世界市场。这种情况下，中国成为更多的国家的企业的所有人，这是一个趋势。中国的政府，它是一个带有主导性的政府，它对所有的战略性的行业的投资和动作是带有一定的策略性的。而加拿大本身是一个绝对自由化的市场，这种自由化的市场在有一种主导性策略的市场的攻击之下，是不是它会对它有害？
We find that in many cases, Chinese firms are more eager, more keen to explore global opportunities, and that's why so many are interested in the subject of Chinese firms coming to Canada.
We are focused on networking. So as much as we're an association, our official name is the Trade and Investment Service Alliance Network. And I like to say that we are a network of networks, so that when we can bring a group together with another group, very interesting things happen.
I would like to present to you Israel as one of the leading innovation centers in the world today. Now, most of you, if not all of you, are using Israeli technology every day without realizing it.
But one of the issues is immigration. Inside China, even worse. Maybe next time, Joe Tai can organize somebody from the immigration department, you know, issue something, priority pass or a letter or introduction from Ellen or something, that it would expedite the process. I mean, I got a few frustrated guys all waiting to sign an agreement, getting some money from them, and but they got stuck at the airport or something. So please do something for them.
I share your concern, and China is one of the countries where we have incoming business delegations, and we've had our programs compromised because all the delegates didn't get their visas. And Canada is a little different than other countries, how they organize immigration. I don't know if you know that an ambassador of China has absolutely no influence. The Canadian you know, are any reporters here? I don't know. But the Canadian ambassador to China has no influence on immigration. Immigration is separate.
The challenge is